So my granddaughter loves beef heart. Where does she get beef heart? I'm laying on the floor. I passed out. Are you kidding me?
Hello, fellow carnivores. Welcome to the channel. My name is Chad. Today we're chatting with Karen Miles, 63, super active, carnivore, almost 4 years, no more joint pains, super active pickleball player, kayaking, just doing all kinds of great activities. I think some of her favorite carnivore things are actually the meetups that she sets up to meet other carnivores, and also just attending other meetups and again, meeting so many great people in the carnivore community. She's got 2 amazing stories about muscle cramps and tips and how to help those that you guys have to hear. So let's get into it.
First of all, Chad, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Carnivore Twins. Let me tell you about Carnivore Twins. My buddy Jackie Jones is her name. Her handle on Instagram. I do a lot of Instagram stuff, by the way, Chad. And I know you don't. I'm encouraging you to get on
You're
there.
going to get me there.
There you go. Karen. You can see it on my screen. Karen.s.miles.3. Anyway, my buddy who I met, Jackie Jam is her name. She and I started talking. We met through Kelly Hogan, and we got to be in the steak and butter gown. We met more through that way. And then the carnivore doctor had a meetup, and she went to the meetup, and I went to the meetup. So we got to meet together. But we were talking, and we had so many things alike. We both are going to be 4-year carnivores in a few months, which is pretty cool. We both have 2 children. We both did something prior to carnivore. I did low carb for a little over 2 years, and Jackie did no sugar, no grains for a little over 2 years. And we both had success, a lot of success on that. But we knew something was missing. Like I said, I never knew her. She never knew me. Like we said, we met up in the carnivore community, and we started talking. We had so much alike. Like I said, our weight loss was very similar. Our paths were very similar. So we were joking around. We're like, oh, we're the Carnivore Twins because we have so much alike. And after we got to be friends after a while, joked around, said, let's start a YouTube channel. It's not very big. It's we don't put a lot of stuff out. We want to do more stuff on there, but we're just having some fun. So don't forget to check out our channel, Carnivore Twins. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and comment. And you can even share. You got to do all those things like everybody else does, right?
And we'll be having all your social links too in the comments
Great.
for sure.
Great.
In the
Awesome.
description.
Appreciate that. So my carnivore journey, like I said, it'll be 4 years in a couple months. And I did low carb first for 2 years and 3 months, and I had a lot of success with that. First of all, I wasn't obese growing up. In high school, my friends called me Wally. I wasn't that fat. I was a little overweight, but I wasn't that fat. I was a pretty good athlete. I actually got a full scholarship to college to play field hockey. I was first team All-State my senior year in high school, and my junior year I was second team All-State, made all area for 3 years, sophomore, junior, and senior year. So I was a pretty good athlete, and I wasn't obese, but I was overweight. So then anyway, I went to college, played 4 years of college, Division I athlete, still put on weight. They had all the food you could eat in the dorm, and I might have had a beer or 2 along the way. I did in college, and the weight kept on going on. Graduated from college, got married soon afterwards, and my husband and I, Jeff, were married 40 years. It'll be 41 years in a couple months. And we started trucking, got in that truck, drove all around the country. We've been in all the states in the U.S. continental, not Hawaii and Alaska, but all the 48 states. And that was a lot of fun traveling the country. You know what? You go to a truck stop and you get all this food. And we had buffets, did all the things. The weight started piling on. Finally, after about 6 years, we said we should probably have kids. So I got pregnant, and I stayed home and had a child, and then the weight really started coming on as I was raising our one child. A couple years later, we had another one. So I had 2 boys, and the weight just started coming on. I didn't slow down. And then I remember my youngest son, Vinny, when he was in 8th grade, I said, I'm going to do low carb. I hear all about this Atkins. I'm going to do it. I did it and I lost weight. I felt really good. This is good. This is good. And then I stopped. And then what happened, Chad? Gained all my weight back. Yep. We've heard the story. Gained it all back. Did it another time. I could do this again. I'm going to do it. Did another time. Lost weight. Gained it all back. I counted calories one time and lost weight, gained it all back. So then I was doing low carb again. My blood pressure was up. My cholesterol was up. Doctors like, Karen, you know, we're gonna have to up these meds and stuff. I said, you know what? Just give me 3 months. She said, I'll give you more than 3 months. You know, I'll give you some time. So I said, he said, you ever hear of low carb? I said, yeah, I did Atkins. I had a lot of success. I'll do it. That day, actually 6 years ago, right around now, it was in September that it changed my life 6 years ago, right now. I did low carb. I remember I went to play pickleball that night and I played for 2.5 hours this morning. I love the game. Ever play it, Chad? Changing the subject.
No, played racquetball and handball. That's in tennis.
I find some pickleball. It's so much fun. Anyway, I went to play pickleball and there was an odd amount of people and I wasn't on the court. I said, I'm going to walk. So I walked around the court chasing balls and just was walking and walking. I remember that day exactly when I just started low carb. I said, I'm going to move more. And I was playing pickleball. Then I'd walk and stuff. Anyway, I was pretty good with that, but I wasn't 100%. A lot of people were doing pricking their finger and using checking their glucose, checking their ketones. And I'm like, oh, I should get one. I'm like, no, Karen, you're not getting one until you could be a whole month of low carb and do only 50 carbs a day, no more, because you're doing 70, you're doing 100. No, you're not getting one, Karen. So I wouldn't let myself get one till I could be really strict. So I never got one. So I wasn't always exactly strict. Then the holidays were coming around and I was 2 years into eating this way, feeling good, still off all those things, cholesterol meds, blood pressure, and CPAP, off of it. I was feeling good. But I still had urges to eat junk and I still would eat some junk. It was still in my head that I could still eat this every now and then. And it was Thanksgiving time. We were going to have a visitor from another country. My family did this program over Thanksgiving where people come stay with us for 5 days, 4 nights. And they were from Japan, a husband, a father, and a 5-year-old kid. I said, I'll buy some goodies and I won't eat any. I bought all the fruits and I would still buy that for my family and stuff too. And my boys were out of the house by now. So I bought panettone bread. You ever hear of that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Italian,
quite well.
And Christmas time is when it came out. So now it's Thanksgiving. Oh, I found it in the store. Now, in New Jersey, you can find it often, all over the place. Illinois, you can't so much. And I found it. I'm like, great, I'm going to have company. I'll buy it and I'll eat it. And I'll have it for breakfast. I'll have it for a snack and whatever. I'll buy some. Well, as I sliced it up for them, I ate some. I toasted it for them. They put butter on it. I said, man, that smells good. And I ate some more. It's this big honking loaf. Well, I ate a lot of that panettone bread that Thanksgiving weekend. Well, my one ankle was killing me. I felt so inflamed. And I'm like, holy cow, I couldn't walk for like 3 weeks. I could walk. I was limping. I wasn't doing any pickleball. And I was a PE teacher at that time. And I'm limping around. And I'm like, Karen, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, I ate too much crap over Thanksgiving, especially this panettone bread. I just think I'm inflamed. I'm back on track, but oh my goodness, it's still killing me. It's killing me. Well, in the meantime, I listened to a lot of YouTubes, and Dr. Berry was one of the YouTubers, and I've heard him talk about carnivore for a while. And I'm like, who does that stuff? That's crazy. Who eats just meat? I heard him talk about it. I said, okay, I think it's time. I heard him talk about Kelly Hogan, and I said, let me look up her. And I looked up her. I'm like, oh man, she's so inspiring. I said, let me look. I was looking up some more. I said, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to do carnivore. I'll try for a month. I tried for a month. And now it's almost 4 years. Within 3 days, Chad, that bad ankle I was limping around was all better, 100% better. 3 days ago in carnivore. And I've heard people say 3 or 4 days as a magic number for healing certain things, skin, this, that, and the other things. Unbelievable. 3 days. I was totally better. I'm like, woohoo, if I feel better in 3 days for my ankle, what else could help? And things just got better and better, better. I had sciatica pains. That got, I mean, excruciating. I'd be laying on the floor crying at night, trying to stretch out. And my husband would be like, Karen, you okay? And terrible, terrible. What else? I would get vertigo really bad. I'd get up to get out of bed, and my vertigo was a spin and a spin, and it was like terrible. That went away. My cracked heels that I had in the winter
Yeah.
went away. Huge thing. Even my hands. If I would play basketball with my kids at PE for a couple of days, even the tips of my fingertips would get chapped and cracked from playing basketball with leather balls in my gym. Like, hello, why? That didn't happen. Just so many amazing things happened to me. Like, what else is this going to help? It just kept on getting better, better, and better. And that's why I'm a carnivore. I want to keep up with my grandkids. I have 6 grandkids. 6 grandkids are amazing, and I want to be active with them. I taught my one granddaughter how to ride a bike, and I run next to her and help her ride a bike. I'm working with my other one that's 5 to ride a bike, a 2-wheeler, you know? I play stuff with them. I want to be active with them. We take walks, we take bike rides, and we play. That's what I want to do. I want to play pickleball with them. I want to take them kayaking. I want to do all the things.
That is awesome.
That's
I
what
know we got a comment one time from a grandma that said, I love this because I'm not the grandma that the kids come over to get cookies from. I'm the grandma that they come over and play with, and I take them out. And I think she actually said about riding a bike. You know what I mean? That's the truth. It's like, that has to be that thing. But to jump really quickly to your kids, how do they see the change of you doing carnivore? And have they ever kind of dabbled into it or anything?
my younger son wrestled through high school, and I did low carb during that time when he lived with me. My other son was already out of the house, and he saw the low carb, and he saw me have success with that. They both have seen the carnivore success. So a few years ago, my son was putting on some weight, and he said, he did the low carb when he was around his girlfriend, and when he went back to his own house and ate his own food, he did carnivore. But he did low carb, but he was out socializing. And I'm like, very cool. Right now, he's not doing that, but he's doing CrossFit. He looks amazing and stuff. But I think he knows, hey, I could do this. My other son's like, yeah, he likes all the meat. He loves when they come over here to eat and they eat all the meat. So my granddaughter loves beef heart. Where does she get beef heart? At this house. They've had 1 year, it was my husband's birthday. I made a really nice roast in the oven with potatoes and carrots for everybody. But I also made beef tongue in the crock pot and then shredded it all up and fried the thinner part. I made crispy, Mexican tacos are made like this. The crispy meat. Then the other part, I chunked it up and I put it back in the juices because I had bacon and butter on the tongue when I made it. Chunked it up, put it back in the juices, served it with the juices. So I had 2 kinds of tongue meats. They all loved it. Even the kids. I didn't tell the kids what they were eating first. The little kids, the grandkids, they're like, what? They were suspicious because they know how I am. But everybody liked it and tried it. So I was real happy about that. Heart. My granddaughter loves beef heart. One day I made ribeyes. It's like, Nana, do you have any heart? I'm like, sure, I have heart. So now what I do, a heart's really big. So now when I use it, I used to try to eat it all in one, the next few days, but now that's so big. So now I'll cut it, defrost it, cut it in half while it's still somewhat frozen, throw that other half in the freezer, or I'll cut it up in steaks, the whole thing, put them on a cookie sheet and flash freeze the steaks, put them in a gallon baggie, throw them in the freezer. So now my granddaughter comes over and doesn't want ribeye. She wants heart. I'll throw it. I used to cook it in butter and bacon and that kind of deal. But now I do it in the air fryer. Air fryer for the win, for everything. Are you kidding me? I got a brand new Weber I bought a couple months ago. I love that. That air fryer is amazing, right? I mean, do you use an air fryer?
Do you have a basket type one or like an
oven
type?
Basket, instant pot, instant. basket.
Yeah, I have to get one of those types because I have an oven type, and the couple times I've tried it, it makes such a huge mess, but it works good for some things that the kids like. But
Yes.
I've got to get the little drawer basket ones where it, isn't going over the whole
I,
oven.
I love it. So a lot of times, my buddy Jackie gave me these liners, parchment paper liners, and now I cook things in the liners, throw away the liner, and or pour the fat on top of my meat. It's amazing. I just made what I have chuck eye for lunch. I thought I'll fire up the grill. I was coming over from pickleball. I said I'll fire up the grill. I'm like, cook it in the air fryer, and it's so easy, so easy.
So you mentioned I'm actually having chuck. I eat a lot of chuck. How we were talking a little bit before about how like we both used to do this whip butter and how we're kind of pulling back from that a bit. So how has your eating changed from when you started carnivore to now? And like what are some of the things that you love or you've maybe quit eating or just and why did you quit eating them? That would be interesting to.
Okay. My first year of carnivore, all I did any kind of meats, the porks, even the chickens, the beef. I really love beef over anything else, to be honest with you, right now, and some pork. But I did everything, and I only use salt. And I've been using Redmond's real salt for like over 10 years. I've loved
Oh
Redmond's real
wow.
salt. I love them more now because there's all kinds of salts that I like to use. They even have toothpaste, actually, I have a code, Karen Miles, on
There you go.
but for real, I mean, I buy it. They send me stuff too. They're so generous. I have meetups a lot of times, and they'll send me stuff for the meetups. Back back to where I'm at, Zone and Karen. Okay, so I did meat and salt. I really didn't do any spices the first year at all. I did do coffee. I did heavy whipped cream in my coffee. And then the second year, I said, I'll put some seasonings in. And I did lots of seasonings. I did lots of more butter. Because the first year, to be honest with you, when they say eat the meat and the fat, how could you eat that fat? And I'd hear Kelly Hogan say, eat a piece of meat and a little piece of fat, and it's not so bad. But, I don't know about you. I talked to a lot. I put an Instagram story up just last week saying, who had a hard time eating the fat right away? And a bunch of people like, I did. It's tricky to start out and eat that fat like they tell you to eat. I didn't eat extra butter. That was more like the second year I started eating more of extra butter and stuff like that. So those are some of my changes. I now love pork belly. I never found pork belly beforehand. Now I have to go to Iowa. Sounds like it's so far, but it's only about 35 minutes away. But I have to go to Iowa. I live in northwestern Illinois to get pork belly. I cannot find any pork belly around here at all. If I want heavy whipping cream that is raw, I either have to go to this little farm that was 5 minutes away from my school and buy it from an Amish farm in a gallon container.
I bet
Chad,
that's good.
guess how much I pay for my raw milk in a gallon container,
I
just for the
think
fun of it.
here it would probably be like $30 or something insane,
Yeah,
just by
probably.
the cost of what a quart is at
Right,
Costco.
right. $5. $5 I pay for that raw milk with this much heavy whipping cream on top of it,
Yeah.
like a
It's so
gallon
insane
62.
here. It's just,
Yeah, and it really should be, but this is a small place that deals with the local community. You go in there and it's self-service, and they have the money out there. You put your money, write your name in there. And shit, first time I went, I was very uncomfortable because they have lots of bills. I mean, 20s, 10s, 5.
yeah.
I mean, a whole bunch. I'm like, I
Well,
went in, did my transaction, and left. I
there's a
felt
few places that have it
guilty.
here, and it's like the pints, or what I mean, like the smaller ones are like $10 or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
stupid. And it's
yeah.
hard to get, I think, too. I don't know what the laws here are, but I know some places have it, so I don't know if it's really raw, like you're
Oh,
getting though. It probably
I
might
know this
not
is
be.
raw. I know this is
Yeah,
raw because the cows are right there. I know
that is
mine's raw.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So then the first time I got it, I was so excited. So I put them. I was all about the cream. I don't drink milk. My husband does it. I'm very little. So I'm like, you want to try something? He's like, yeah, that's good. I said, you want some more? He said, how much can I drink? So I put in a glass pitcher, the milk, not the cream. And I went around to my friends and relatives. I said, you guys want to try some raw milk? Some tried, but some were like, no, oh, you could get sick off of that. I'm like, try it, it's
Yeah.
good. Anyway, I had so much fun. So I would go get the milk, and use the cream. I even made butter. I made one stick of butter out of all that cream one time. I'm like, that was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun. And I sure did enjoy that one stick of butter. Going back. So when I go to Iowa, I try to look for that dairy, the heavy whipping cream that's raw. Because I don't always go to that one place because then I got to return. Now I don't work. I retired from teaching and it was 5 minutes away. Now it's 20 minutes away. It's still not that far, but I might go back another time just because I'm talking to you about it. It was so much fun. Because I pay a quart. I pay like $5 for a quart at Aldi's.
Yeah. The quart, no, is it a quart? Yeah, quart is I think like $12 for the so-called, good stuff. But even when you look at it, it's like, I don't know how to pronounce it. Was it carrageenan, the seaweed stuff?
Yeah. And the gum.
And even that's in there. So it's not really like this all natural kind of stuff. And they have this really cheap stuff that's like $8. And this is at the business Costco's or the Costco's here for the cream. And it just, I had that in the beginning and I quit buying it because it just tastes like seaweed or something weird. You can tell it's not good.
Oh.
It's cheap cream or something.
Okay. Buy the Aldi cream or the Walmart cheap cream.
Yeah, the one we had at the one, but the other one we got, which is like Horizon Farms or something. I probably shouldn't say brand names, but whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is okay though, and that's what my wife has.
I like it. I have like 2 tablespoons a day, and every now and then I'll have iced coffee and I'll put some in there, another tablespoon or so in it. That is a treat. I've gone without it. I've gone without it for a while. It's like, oh, it's so good. Now what I'm doing, I just had some Carnivore friends here a month ago. I got them all hooked. So I get my coffee mug and I'll put 2 tablespoons in there. I'll use my frother and froth it up in my coffee cup and nothing else in it. It gets really frothy. And then I pour my coffee and all that froth comes to the top. So good. So good. Sometimes I'll sprinkle some Relight on it or Element Tea on it. It's really good, little chocolate on there. It's like this chocolate delight. But anyway, what else do I do? I discovered pork belly, probably my 2nd year into it, maybe my 1st year. But I love pork belly. I like unique cuts. I like to get the heart. I like to get the tongue. I like that oxtail. I don't like liver. My husband doesn't mind it. So I'll make it for him every now and then. I'll just have a little bit. I don't love it. What else? But all my friends know how I eat. All my friends know I eat the offal. Is that how you say it? The oxtail and the heart and the tongue. And they'll give it to me. I'll get a message from a coworker. Karen, I put some in the freezer for you. I'm like, yes. I don't know what it is, but I know what it is. I know somebody left me something in the freezer. Or somebody run into me. Hey, I got some meat for you. Yes, I'll take it. Absolutely. Another thing I like to do, and I did this when I was low carb, I like to make my own tallow for my skin, for my face. I like that. I didn't like my last batch at all. I don't love it, but I give it to, not this last batch. I really need to rework it or get rid of it. But I like to give it to people, give it away to my carnivore friends and stuff.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned your husband eating some liver. Does he eat carnivore or low carb, or so it's like my wife doesn't do it, and she still has coffee. I quit coffee and I've felt better. And I'm one of those people that say, try to quit coffee and see if it feels better. But if you don't, enjoy it. But then everybody always only hears me say, quit coffee. And they don't hear me say, if you get better. Yeah. So I get a lot of feedback on that, but it's an interesting.
So, Chad, I've had bad leg cramps for like 6 years through my low carb and they go off and on different times. Right now, I'm kind of riding a wave, doing really, really well. But I said, Karen, stop coffee. So I stopped coffee for 3 months. Didn't make a difference. Back to coffee. I stopped salt for 3 months. Didn't make a difference. I added a mother load of salt. Nothing. I made snake juice. I did the Element Tea. I did the Relight. I tried so many things. I did the magnesium spray. I did these one pills. I take this is how I do it: mild, moderate, or severe. Mild. Let me tell you this. I got to. All right, you guys.
And I are like with all the things we try. I'm laughing because it's like you and I seem to really, You got to try it.
You got to try it.
No.
This is amazing. So like I said, 6 years of cramps. I told Dr. Berry was doing a live one time, and I paid money for him to read this out loud. So I really want to tell people about that. So if you have a cramp and you're laying in bed, you're like, oh, I got a cramp, suck in your abdominal muscles. Do like a crunch, suck in your stomach, and sometimes it makes your cramp go away. It's amazing. So suck in your abs, or do like almost like a little crunch, sit up in bed, just just your head a little bit, and sometimes it makes that cramp go away. It's amazing. I shouted from the rooftops. I told Ken Berry, and he shouted out to a bunch of his people because I think it's worth knowing.
That's a good tip. That's an interesting. I'll have to try that.
Good.
I don't get them too often. I know I cannot, if I get a cramp, do not straighten or try to straighten your leg or move it, because that just makes it. I tend to just immediately try to stand up, and maybe it's to me kind of getting up that's maybe a crunch, because the second I get up and kind of walk it off, it's pretty quick. And if it doesn't walk off, I run downstairs and take some salt, throw it in water, and have a glass, and then it's gone within 2 minutes. But that's me.
Well, this is me. I'll suck in my abs, number one. Doesn't help. Stand up. Sometimes just standing up and stretching works. Amazing. So usually don't have to walk it off. If standing up, that helps, great. But I would get sometimes 4 or 5 of those a night where I had to stand up all night long. Very bad. So every now and then, if I get one in my thigh, they're bad. And I get one in my thigh, I don't even try the crunches. I try stand up. Doesn't work. Like I know I need to go walk all the way to the kitchen and take a spoonful of mustard, and that makes it go away.
That's weird.
Instantly.
That's weird.
People do pickle juice.
I've heard that.
I have not done salt water, but I've done salt. I mean, I've done it all, Chad. But I'm doing pretty good now. Then I was thinking maybe I have mold toxicity from being at school, because the one room next to my office had water damage in it. And I'm like, maybe it's that. So I got a cramp in my thigh, and I'm thinking, this is not good. I think I'm going to need mustard. Stood up, didn't help it. I'm like, oh no. So I started walking to go to the kitchen to get mustard. And as soon as I got in the kitchen, I saw stars. I'm like, this is not good. So I got a spoon, I got my mustard, and I was shaking. That never happens. I'm shaking, putting the mustard on the spoon, and I took my spoonful of mustard, and I heard a loud bang. I'm like, wow, that was crazy. And that was a loud bang. I wonder what that was. And I woke up, and I felt some pressure in my head. I'm like, what is that pressure on my head? Felt like I was in my mother's birth canal. I was about to be birthed. That's something weird. And I realized I'm laying on the floor. I passed out. Are you kidding me? So I'm like, whoa. So I sat up, went like this, felt my head, no blood. I'm like, boy, thank you, Lord. I was really lucky. I didn't crack my head open, because I was right there by the kitchen cabinets. Nothing. Holy cow, cracked my head on the floor, nothing. So I'm sitting up, and I got really hot, and I heard a bang again. I'm like, what was that bang? Woke up, I realized I passed out again. I fell straight back. Bang. Passed out again. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to just stay here and sleep here the rest of the night. I don't know what time it is. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see the clock. I'm like, I'll just sleep here. So I slept there for a while. I don't know how long I laid there. I did actually go to sleep. Like, okay, this is good. I fell back to sleep. And I woke up really cold. Like, I'm freezing. So like, I guess I need to go to bed because I'm freezing on the floor. So I went to bed, but before I got in bed, I looked at the time, and it was like I was probably going to have to get up in the next hour to go to school. Like, you know what? You just passed out 2 times and bumped your head. You probably shouldn't go to school. So I texted, my superintendent's office to say, I'm not going to be at school and don't get a sub. And I went back to bed. I said, well, Jeff's going to wake up and see me here and wondering what's going on. If I'm dead, he'll see the mustard and the spoon on the counter, which I normally don't leave it on the counter. I would have put it away and probably would have seen a little mustard around and known she got a cramp and she died in her sleep. I'll figure that out. So like, well, if I die, I die. I didn't want to wake up Jeff because he would have had a million questions. And then I would have gone back to sleep and he would have maybe said, let's go to the hospital. And I'm just going to sleep it off because why not? So I went back to sleep and I woke up before he woke up. And I'm like, okay. And I got up and I'm reliving the whole thing. Checked out the kitchen, saw the mustard and on the counter because of me being so messy. And saying, man, I'm so lucky I didn't crack my head open where my head was. So I just chilled out. I didn't even go on my phone right away. I just chilled and calmly sat in the living room waiting for daylight to hit. And then daylight hit and I started Googling a little bit. And I said something to one of my friends that lives locally. She said, you're going to the doctor, right? I said, well, I'm really feeling okay. Karen, you're going to the doctor, right? And Jeff got up too, and I told him the story. He said, you're going to the doctor? I said, I'm feeling a lot better. I think I'm not. Well, maybe you should. Like, I think I'm all right. Well, I talked to a couple other people like, Karen, go to the doctor. So I did. And the doctor had me lay down and sit up while I have a blood pressure cuff on. And I was fine laying down, sitting up, standing up, getting up quickly, all the things. My blood pressure was fine. But he said, I think, Karen, what happened, you went into shock when you had that excruciating pain in your thigh. And walking was the worst thing you could do. You should just lay down again, put your feet up if you could. But you probably went into shock, and that's why you passed out. And walking around did not help it. So I learned a lesson. The doctor said, do you feel that sensation again? Lay down. I don't care where you're at, lay down. So he said, Karen, I think it's a one and done. I think it was such a fluke, such a fluke. So now, then after I slept with mustard on my bedside because I didn't want to get up. I've had it so bad. I woke my husband up. I woke my husband up. Jeff, please, can you get me?
You just need a squirt bottle so you can just reach over and go.
Whenever I travel in I call my shower kit, I have packets of mustard available.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. And when I go to hotels, so I don't have to dig to it, I'll leave them at my bedside. And I don't have my bedside now, but I did. When that first happened, I had the mustard and a spoon by my bedside for a while because I was afraid. Now I just wake up, Jeff, if it's real bad. Thank you, Lord. I haven't gotten them that bad lately. So I have to stand up, get up, and that's okay. But I've had them where I had to stand up, get up like 5 different times. I've had numerous people reach out. Karen, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Talked to lots of people in the space about it. And I got my, my sodium levels checked, my magnesium, my potassium, all that stuff.
So since you've been at this so long, how do you feel you've changed over 4 years? And if there has been changes, what has changed or not?
Chad, I don't know if I changed that much. Like I said earlier, I did give up coffee, but I added it back after like 3 months. I gave up salt, added it back. I did a whole bunch of salt when I was trying to get rid of cramps, added it back to normal stuff. I still make like fancy little treats like carnivore bread. Actually, the Carnivore Twins channel is going to come out with a YouTube real soon about that. Carnivore Twins, check us out. And let's see, I make creme brulee that Kelly Hogan makes. I make Bella's egg pudding, egg custard. I make my own little treats that I've made up myself. I make brojol, which is a piece of flat meat, say a ribeye, pounded out thin, mustard, prosciutto, mozzarella cheese, or fresh cheese, spices, roll it up, throw it in the air fryer. I make those knockoff fun little things because, I don't know, I like to cook. So I do make some unique foods, excuse me, where I know you like more of the meat. You're like the hardcore meat. I like to try different things. I've made butter boards. Carnivore Twins have a YouTube channel video on that. Fancy butters all over. I like to make charcuterie boards and make roses out of the salami like the carnivore doctor makes. I like doing that kind of stuff. It's fun for me. I like to entertain and I like doing that stuff.
I did see your butterboard video with you and Jackie watching the difference. And, they were fancy. They were all rolled up. And this is what it's about. It's about being healthy and enjoying, like I say, that journey. That's right. And liking what you're doing.
That's right. I'll tell you that I'll tell you one journey I like. I have so many carnivore friends. Carnivore Friends is where it's at. I talk to a lot of them on Instagram. And at first, I talked to Judy Joe, Laura, Spath, Carnivore Doctor, Kelly Hogan, and they answer and they talk back, some more than others. But I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. And built on Lady Carnivory, the Carnitarian, more and more. I'm like, wow, this is really neat. And just same with the run of the mill people. I talked to them too. And I got to be friends with so many people. And now I vacation with these people. Like I said earlier, they've come to my house. It's really special. I'm going to some people's houses. It's really cool. The community is where it's at. When I did low carb, I looked at keto people and low carb, and I never reached out to them ever, ever, ever. Never took communicated with anybody. But I don't know, something's different about this carnivore, and they're so nice. They're so
It's
nice.
it's almost, I used to ride motorcycles a lot. It's almost like motorcyclists on the road. They all wave to each other. They all have this respect. And even if you're on a different bike, there's that mutual respect. You're still on two wheels. And I think that carnivore community is pretty strong.
I think so too. I think you're
Yeah.
right. There's something
And
about it.
people reach out. I think people know that, if there's something that you did and somebody can reach out, you'll be there to answer.
Right, right. Like I really like to do meetups, carnivore meetups. So the carnivore doctor, she's like the queen of meetups. She has a lot of them. She's currently on trying to do one in every state of the United States. That's pretty darn cool. And I've been to four of hers, and one's in New Jersey, the Northeast meetups, and they're amazing. There was 100 people there last year. I'm sorry, this past July, a couple months ago. So amazing. I think it's the meetup of all meetups. But I've also had them. So I've been to 15 of them. 15 of them. I've had 11 of them on my own. 11. Some were small, just a few people in a little restaurant an hour away. Some like 5 people, 3 people. Those were my 3 was my smallest, but I've had them where 19, 20 something, 40. And that's pretty darn cool. I'm having one in a couple of weeks, September 24th in Alcoa, Tennessee. And that's really cool. I asked companies for products. I just got what I get. Carnivore Snacks sent me something today. Yesterday, LMNT Electrolyte sent me something. And I reach out. I get to be friends with these people. I met the owners of Carnivore Crisp. They came to the meetup in Las Vegas. So that's cool. Carnivore Doctor surprised me and my friends and came to the one in Vegas. Walked in at our pre-party. Kelly Hogan decided the last minute to go. It's just cool. And then I got my buddy Audrey, Jackie. I mean, these people fly from all over the country. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And
Cool.
it's what Linda Wiedemann
Lisa
is it
Wiedemann, doctor, the
Lisa,
Carnivore
that's right.
doctor,
Okay.
Dr.
Yeah, I like
Wiedemann.
her. And she's been at it like 14 years or something.
Yeah, and Kelly's right
Yeah.
behind her. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kelly's definitely right up there too.
I just met Amanda Ratke. She's like 10 years. She's a rancher in South Dakota. She contacted me and said, Karen, you're in Illinois, right? I said, yes, I am. She said, I'm going to be out your way. And I Googled where she's going. It was 70 minutes away. I'm like, okay, she said, I'd love to meet you. I'm like, yes. Then I'm like, why don't we have a meetup? So we had a meetup. It was awesome. Fantastic.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So along the way, did you ever face many mental things like kind of getting rid of old habits
Yeah.
of eating?
I know. At the beginning, you're eating fat. Who eats fat? You don't eat fat. So it was really hard for me to get that eat fat into my head. That was really hard. I know in keto, sometimes they say put some butter on top. So I never did that in keto world, but I did a little bit in the carnivore world. And again, that's something odd that normally I put butter on bread. I put butter on baked potatoes, put it on meat, but you had to kind of get that through your system. The drinking water, I mostly drink water, and that was not a problem. I was never a big soda drinker. I drank juice back in the day, but that doesn't bother me missing any of that. Desserts, I do make some desserts. Like I said, that creme brulee occasionally. Kelly's oopsie cake is really tasty. I don't make stuff a lot, but it's fun to make every now and then. There's a pumpkin pie recipe that my buddy Gigi told me about, and I make that. I'll be making it over the holidays again. So I look forward to those fun little foods. I
Fun
whipped up my
treats.
own. Yeah, yeah.
And
Check
those have been okay to substitute for something that you used to crave enough to kind of get you through that. And like maybe in the beginning, did you ever crave like, oh, I got to have cake again, or I got to have my bread again, or? for that. And
Um,
because the keto, we both did the keto, and I think that helped break me. So I don't know if that helped break you from
right.
those.
It really did help a lot. I'll tell you, to be honest, I did cheat some the first year. I did. I went to a wedding, I had a couple bites of my husband's cake. I go to a Mexican restaurant, have a few of those chips and the salsa. I did. And do I ever do it? I might still have a chip or two, but I just won't have a whole basket. I still occasionally do that. So I know it's not the best for me, but I can moderate sometimes. I don't like to, but I do it sometimes. So
Yeah, I have 2 bites of my kid's birthday cake, each one
yeah,
of their cakes, because it celebrates their birthday, and
yeah,
it's 2 bites twice a year. That's not going to do anything for
no,
me in the long run,
no,
and I don't crave it. I
right,
actually sometimes don't even want the second bite, and I won't. So it's not like I'm going, oh, now I want a whole
right,
piece,
right, right,
you know,
exactly.
kind of thing.
Now, even around the holidays, I started this whole journey right before Christmas, December 14th. And I remember I was so excited. Christmas Eve, I make the Feast of the Seven Fishes. It's an Italian tradition. And I make all fish, scallops, shrimp, shrimp made a couple ways, and I count those each way. I've done calamari, the squid, and just codfish made a certain way. And I was so excited my first year. I even lost weight. Even I jumped on the scale the next time, like, oh gosh, I even lost weight. So that was exciting. But that's a great, great, great carnivore meal. The feast of the seven fishes, and my family loves it. I also make pasta because I have to make yeah with this oil and water mixture, and we put scallops on it. And I always do that, but I don't eat that. So I I could find places. Yesterday, we had to do an emergency trip to take my sister-in-law to get a procedure done, and we went to Cracker Barrel. I haven't been to Cracker Barrel by 20 years. I'm like, they have to have a burger. Sure enough, they had a really nice big burger, bacon cheeseburger is what I had, and I was happy. So I always know in the back of my head, even when I started this out, I could always pick up a hamburger somewhere, cheeseburger, a bacon cheeseburger,
Yeah,
and fried egg. So that's good to know. So my life hasn't really changed a lot in my eating since doing this because I do eat a lot of the same things. My first year I didn't do herbs, but now I do. But I was really pretty strict the first year, but I still had salami because that was a nice thing I could munch on. So I don't have salami as much anymore, but I do occasionally. So in a way, I'm stricter, but in a way, I'm not because I like to make all these other fun foods. All carnivore though.
that's good though.
Yeah.
It's again, we got to be happy with it. I know I have prosciutto about twice a year because I love that stuff. So
I
I usually get it around my birthday and around Christmas, and you know,
nice.
it's good. It's
My,
just good stuff.
my buddy Bruno makes his own prosciutto,
Oh wow.
cures it and a whole bit, and salamis and stuff. I've had some of his, but I like making. You get a piece of prosciutto and put some goat cheese in the middle of it, roll it up, put it
Hmm.
together, and cook it in the air fryer. Oh my goodness, it's a
Never
fantastic,
cooked it. That's an interesting.
fantastic appetizer. Go to my Instagram, check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to do that then because I know, I guess it would be. I've done that with goat cheese before in the past, and
Yeah,
I'm not eating as much cheese anymore. I just eat cheese now for no gallbladder thing, and it's just Parmesan, and it's just to kind of get me through that. Otherwise, because I still get inflammation, I can feel it a little bit more in my joints than I like to. But
yeah,
the upside of consistency is worth it.
right, right. Well, good for you. You're
So,
definitely.
what is a normal day of eating for you?
For breakfast, sometimes I have leftover meat, but sometimes I'll fry up a couple eggs, two, three eggs, and a couple pieces of bacon. That might be breakfast. Lunch is maybe a half a pound of leftover ground beef or leftover steak that I have, or sometimes a smaller piece of meat and a can of sardines every now and then. I'll do that, or even fry an egg and throw it on top of a hamburger, one hamburger and a fried egg on top. Dinner, I don't always do steaks, but I sure do like when I do a steak. I have ribeyes for tonight. So occasionally ribeye is my favorite steak. I'll do a sirloin every now and then. I'll put some butter on top. I'll do a chicken every now and then. It's got to be like chicken thighs. I do not do chicken breasts at all. Well, I might play around with making a recipe now and then, but really not. Chicken thighs are okay. Chicken wings for sure. Not thighs, maybe nowadays, maybe every 2 months. I used to, when I first started, I used to do them a lot more because they're fatty and they're supposed to be good. I really, really like beef the best. I'll do pork belly a couple times a month. I'll do a pork steak a couple times a month, maybe. I'll do a pork chop once or twice a month. But I'll do maybe a half to a 3/4 of a pound for dinner, unless it's a ribeye. Then I eat a lot of times more than that. It
So
might
you're
be
eating at
the
least 2 times a day,
oh, two, definitely two,
two,
three,
two to
three.
three.
Just go with three. Occasionally
And
I'll do two, but it's 3 times a day.
like for the pork belly, what's your favorite way of cooking it, or what's your kind of favorite method of cooking
All
these
right,
days?
I have an air fryer, the kind with a bucket,
Yeah.
a basket. So I get them. I get a 3 pound pork belly a lot of times, and I have to drive like 40 minutes, 35 minutes to get it. So they'll cut them up for me in strips. So it's a 3 pounder, and I'll cut them up in 1 pound strips. And they're already in the paper you could freeze. So I'll throw them in the freezer. I'll get like 9 pounds a lot of times. So I have 9 packages. So I'll take one package out. So it's just like thicker slab. I'll cut it in half, and then I'll score the fat, and I'll even score the meats a lot of times. The meat, well, I'll do it sideways, and I'll score all the way across and make it crisscross like an accordion. Linda the Carnitarian does it, and the Carnivore Doctor does it. So check their pages out on Instagram. And then a lot of times people will chunk it up in little chunks. My husband and I like them in a longer chunk, so it's like an inch and a half long. So that chunk that's this long, I might cut it in like 4 chunks. No, I cut the other one in 4 chunks. There's maybe 8 chunks in my air fryer. So they're bigger and fatter, and they're more moist. I don't like to cook the heck out of it. Some people like them super crispy. And I'll occasionally do it, but I like it to be juicier in the middle. And I don't know, 400 for 7 minutes, maybe nine, maybe a little longer. I don't know. I have to like it moist. But if you want it longer, like 15, 20 minutes, people will cook it in the air fryer. And they're small chunks and they're crispier. I like them more moist. So that's how I like them. I love pork.
Yeah.
And
I
the
still
red
have
meat.
yet to eat it. That's the funny thing. I
What's
have
that?
yet to eat it. I have
Oh,
never eaten pork belly yet. And like we were talking a little bit earlier, I have like an oven type and I know it'd make a mess, so I might have to pick up
right. I
the
made
thing,
it in
but I
my
don't
oven
eat too
once.
much pork these days anyway, so
I made it in my oven once. I almost burnt down my house because I spilled some of the grease on my floor of the oven, and it went. Whoosh. I'm like, oh no. So yeah,
and
but pork.
I cook outside 99% of my meals just because the smell of the grease, the stuff with the kids, so all the meat stuff I cook outside.
Okay, on the grill,
And
or
it
do you
works.
have
I cook it on a grill or I use carbon steel pans called the Bouillet or Matfer, like really good, restaurant style carbon steel pans on a 30,000 BTU burner outside.
nice?
So I used to be a foodie and I still kind of like that side of it, but now I'm just very narrow foodie,
I
you
love
know.
how easy it is to shop and to
Yeah.
cook and to clean up. It's amazing. So nice.
Yeah.
Save so much time. So
Yep.
much time.
So I take this is your life. This is not, going on 4 years here. This month or next month, is it?
In December, but next
Okay.
month I'll be 64, and it's my life. I love it.
Yeah.
I like how I feel. I'll tell you, my sister-in-law has a golf cart. We go riding with her, and my grandkids. She picks them up. We go riding, and she took a bump really hard, really, boom. They just sent chills through my body. It kind of messed up my back a little bit. And I don't have back problems. I'm like, oh, Barb, slow down, man. That was way too fast. Oh, the kids like going bumpy. I'm like, I don't. Anyway, it kind of jacked me up a little bit. I felt uncomfortable. And it's going on like 10 days. And I was really feeling better. Then yesterday I was in the car for like 4 hours. And it kind of aggravated a little bit last night. I felt it a little bit laying in bed. And I said, just think, I used to have this feeling all the time, only times 20. I had the back pain, had the hip pain, had the knee pain, had the shoulder pain. And I don't have that, but I just felt, like I said, a little bit in my back. Nothing like I did back in the day. So it's not that bad overall, but I did feel it a little bit last night.
The recovery is usually really good. A lot of people talk about the recovery. Like the other day, I was helping a neighbor and I did something to my wrist where it was just kind of, and I didn't know what I was doing because, you know, moving stuff around and picking up stuff. And I must have tweaked it. And I was like, oh man, I haven't felt might pull something in forever. And the next morning it was gone,
I had that same
which
thing
doesn't
happen to me.
happen.
Same thing happened to me playing pickleball. I'm like, oh, my knee's bothering me a little bit. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Next day I woke up, I was fine. Like, wow, that was good.
You mentioned the pickleball quite a bit. Now, I always think it's interesting because myself, I never thought I'd be able to bicycle the way I used to be able to bike in the weight I was. And now that I've lost this or gotten back in shape and have this health, is pickleball your thing, or is there other things that you think, wow, now that I'm doing this, I can do more?
I'm very active. I do a lot of pickleball. I probably do it in the summertime 4 days a week. I kayak at least one time a week, but many times two or sometimes three. That's a big, big joy of mine, kayak. And I have a whole kayak club called the Yak Yak Sisters, like it's
Wow.
Facebook. And people come out on Wednesdays and they kayak with us. There's an 89-year-old lady that comes out almost every Wednesday when she's not touring the world with her family and vacationing all over the place. She kayaks with us and she wants to haul her kayak by herself, but we always help her anyway. We love Nancy. She's amazing, amazing. So we have all ages that join us. We have kids that come with their parents, and it's great. We had a brand new person the other day, came for the first time. Anyway, I kind of like run that club and organize stuff. That's a lot of fun.
That'd
We
be
have
fun.
offshoots on it now. We do other things. We snowshoe, we bike, uh, we go to movies, we go to plays, like an offshoot of the Yak Yak Sisters. A lot of fun. Yeah,
That'd be fun. I like kayaking actually.
I love
Don't do it a lot. I used to do it some in the surf in the islands. We used to do like surf ski stuff
nice.
and have fun with that. But
Yeah, I bike. I haven't biked as much as I wanted to this year, but that's still the fall. I could still plenty of time.
yeah. Well, but I don't know. This has been awesome. You know, we have so much in common.
We
Like I said,
do.
it's just funny because there's just all these little nuances and stuff, you know, that are great. So it's also good to meet other people. Like you said, your meetups, the social side of this community is amazing,
It
you
really
know, with the reaching out and helping people and talking with other people. And, you know, that's a big, huge side of it. But is there anything you want to say to any parting kind of words of wisdom, or like if you had somebody you met that you're saying, hey, carnivore has changed my life, what would you you know, what would you say to them to try it or
if
anything like
somebody
that?
said, "Hey, Karen," and I have numerous people reach out. I'll put a little bit on my Facebook page about carnivore, not a lot. Like when this video comes out, I'll share it on my Facebook page, and people will message me and ask me questions and stuff. I just had a lady that I turned on to it not too long ago, a couple months ago, sent me a message yesterday. I think I got another carnivore in the area. I just talked to her. Anyway, I would say give it a month. Give it a month, see how it works. You know, a lot of times you say a month and they feel so good and then they want to go longer and longer and longer. And I tell people stay close to the bathroom at first. So sometimes it's kind of loosey goosey at first. And
Yeah.
find a tribe, get involved with things. Go on these Facebook pages. Sometimes those Facebook pages get a little crazy though. It's sometimes zeroing in on health. You got this that says this, you know, so you got to be careful, but find somebody else like my buddy Jackie. We're around, we have a lot in common. So we talk a lot about different things, a lot. And that's fun to be able to talk it through with people. So give it a try, you guys. You might find something's better in the first week. Like I did. My ankle was better in the first week, 3 days later. So give it a try, see how you like it, and you might not ever go back. Like Chad and I, we're not going
Yep.
back.
No, this is it.
Yeah.
This is life, you know.
That's
Well,
right.
this has been so much fun though.
Because who
This is
video
just,
chats?
yeah. I mean, we'll have to, well, I think we'll be staying in touch because, you know, you got to get me into these meetups because, you know, I learned from you, there was one right in my town area and I missed it by like 2 days,
You sure
you
do.
know. And it's again, it's that focus. Like right now, I'm just kind of focusing on the YouTube thing, you know, and I'll try to do the other, you know, more of the other stuff. And, you know, I stayed out of it for so long just because I wanted the old me gone.
Mm,
That's, I just wanted to put it behind me. And then I thought, this is too good not to share and, scream from the rooftop
right.
about it. So I'm
Cool.
here now. That's what counts.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. And I just found you just this past month, the last few weeks.
Yeah.
There's people I love and I have to listen to every one of their videos. And then there's others I'm always kind of looking for. And, I'm like, oh, he's my age. Oh, 3.5 year carnivore. And so
Yeah.
it interests me.
I think that's the other thing for people to know too. There's all these things like your pickleball or your kayaking. If somebody can relate to that, that sometimes is an in that's really good. Me, my bicycling, my career as a photographer for so long. Even if there's that opening that might help them, kind of jump the gap and say, hey,
Yep.
want to know about this.
When I have meetups, often we play pickleball the next day. So I've turned numerous carnivores on to the game of
Into
pickleball.
pickleball.
Some bought paddles before they came to the meetup, and I had paddles with me. And some bought paddles while they were taking a break in between the game because they wanted to go back and do it. Others bought them for their loved ones. And it's pretty cool. I play pickleball with numerous carnivores now, and that's really cool. I've hiked
That's
with numerous carnivores because when I have a meetup, I usually tie in a bunch of stuff, hiking and stuff like that,
yeah.
socializing. Yeah,
Well, that side is big. I want to get back in. I want to get my boy into hiking. He's 14.
nice.
And I used to do a lot of hiking and a lot of bicycle touring. So I want to get him into the modern age kid thing, get off the computer,
Right,
get out in nature,
right.
Yeah.
I love being in nature. I'm outside a lot, as you can see with my
Yeah.
yeah. I'm outside a lot, and I don't use sunscreen.
No.
I don't. I have tallow that I make myself. I put on my skin. And I wear a hat though. If I go kayaking, I'll wear a big brimmed hat on the water. When I play pickleball, I'll wear a visor, mostly because of the sun in my eyes. But
Mm-hmm.
so love it. I like the
Love
old.
it. Love it.
Like the
Well,
old.
awesome. Well, anyway, we're going to have all the links below to all your social media. So everybody can go check out her Instagram where she's most active. The YouTube, you and Jackie are going to, I think, be posting some stuff still and
Yep.
lots of good stuff to check out there. And of course, on my site, you can find me there at Minimalist Carnivore and just let us know if you want to reach out. Reach out. We're
That's it.
totally available.
Yeah. Hey,
Alrighty.
leave a comment below.